Hey, everybody. How's it going? Welcome. I see a bunch of people are already in chat, chatting it up. A lot of conversations going on. Everyone is wondering what's the big announcement. Well, we'll get to that. But first, as you all know, this is Sidetrack Sunday. Every Sunday of the month, we've got a different Sidetrack Sunday member who jumps on here at 8 o'clock, and we all have some good times. A lot of people do some serious stuff. A lot of people like me do some silly stuff. So you never know what you're going to get on a Sidetrack Sunday, but definitely mark it off in your calendar if you don't know it. Again, every Sunday, 8 o'clock, between Ray, John, Jason, Heath, and myself, who thankfully is only here when there's a fifth week of the month. It just so happens that this week I'm filling in for Ray because Ray filled in for me last month. It has been 2 months since I've been on a Sidetrack Sunday. And in case you don't know, I'm Rick Bailey, and this is the Fultz Bailey Model Railroad. Always with me is my trusty partner, Logo's here hanging out. He's all excited. He loves being here for Sidetrack Sunday. Where do we begin? I'll tell you what, let's jump over to the participants panel and let's see who's here. Let's say hello to a bunch of people. It's too small for me to see on that screen, so I'm going to go over here. Wow, we got a full house. Just in case you guys haven't noticed or you haven't seen this before, in order to get your name in that list, you got to say something in chat. That's the only way that's populated. That's not my thing. That's a YouTube thing. So if anything, if you're lurking in the background, at least just say hello so that everybody knows you're here. So from the top of the list, we've got Almar, Anthony Dodge, the model train outsider, Artie from Awesome American Model Railroad, Derek Alexander's in the house. Of course, I'm here. Grandpa Rails, thanks for stopping in. Gus Hadley for the lunatic from Arno is here. Heath from Humanity Junction. Jeff, the model, the railroad enthusiast, that just jumped. Someone popped in. Oh, there you go. FL Railroad Dog is here. Let's see, where did I leave off? Joe Rader's in the house. John Benicki's here. John, I always screw up your last name. I apologize, but there you are, right on screen. Dwight is here. Someone else just popped in. We'll go up in a minute. Ian from the Lehigh River subdivision. Low Country Railroad is here. Martin is in the house. Mr. Jimbo Trains. New Haven Rails is here. Norman Rowe, welcome aboard. Rail Artist, how are you doing? Roy Eltham, or as lovingly as I know as Ray Elton. John 2 from the Schuylkill River Valley is here. Sparky 107, how you doing, pal? Thomas Splitrock is here. Steve Childers is here way past his bedtime. Steve 87th PSAP is in the house. The Plumber 33. Plumber, I always keep my vinegar stuff right here on the desk. That's just a side note. Tom Grassi's in the house. Tina A is here. Welcome, Tina. Waycross Trains and the surrounding area. Don't think I've seen you here before. I'm not sure that I've seen you in any of the other chats. So do me a favor, put your name in the chat if you'd like to. So this way we can at least learn who you are and maybe where you're from. Welcome to Sidetrack Sunday and the Fultz Bailey Railroad. Last but not least, always down at the very bottom of the list is 3Dub Wigwag Workshop. I wasn't going back up. Sorry. So let's see who's chatting here. I saw Jerry popped in also in the chat. Everybody's kind of saying hello to everyone. 3717. Thank you, Grandpa Rails. Appreciate that. There we go. Some people saying hi to Jerry. I'm going to try and go at this alone tonight. I don't have any special guest set up. No one is joining me as of yet, but I am on StreamYards. If I do need some help, I'll post the link a little bit later, and we'll see if anyone wants to come up and chit chat. What I have to tell you is probably going to be a little controversial. It's something that I've been it's been on my mind for a while. Um, if you guys remember, if you guys been keeping track or following the channel at all, um, a couple months ago, I posted a video. I think it was a couple weeks ago. I can't remember when. It's been so long. I've been so caught up in doing all these builds. It's been a while. Um, if you remember, there was a video that came out that I posted where we got some new stuff, and one of those new things that I got was a bunch of well cars. Nope, Heath, it is not a new compressor. As a matter of fact, I was trying to save the one that broke, and I took it apart and tried to fix it, but it didn't work out. So I'm actually minus one compressor now. It went out in the trash. So a couple weeks ago, I bought some well cars, and I had some issues with the well cars. Nope, not a new scale. I'm already an HO modeler back there, and Jerry and I are working on a coffee table with an N scale lay on it. I'm not going to any other scales. So I got these well cars, and John and I immediately saw we had an issue. We built a tunnel on the layout that passes under the big bridge. And apparently we built the tunnel not at the time. We didn't have any well cars. We didn't have any containers. So we built the tunnel to what we thought was going to be okay. So then I got these well cars, and I realized, okay, well, I can't run double stack, which is kind of a bummer. I can't get the double stacked containers through the tunnel. All right, no big deal. So we went and tried to run the well cars. I'm getting there. I'm setting it up. We tried to run the well cars through the tunnel, and it turns out that the tunnel has such a small curve. I'm talking, I think it's probably an 18-inch radius, maybe even smaller than that, because we had to get it literally around a corner. The well cars kept derailing, and we tried a couple things to make it work. And we changed couplers, we changed everything except for the track itself, and we just couldn't get it to work. They were popping off either at the beginning or in the middle of the well car arrangement. And I was getting angry, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. And it's not just these well cars. This is just where it began. There's other issues. There's other track issues. There's other. We got a new locomotive, and the locomotive is a little bit longer. I can't tell you the model of the locomotive. I know it's the Spirit of America UP locomotive. I can't remember the number. But that locomotive has problems getting around certain curves. I also saw a video. I'm a big supporter, a big fan of Jason Jensen Trains. And he just posted a video not too long ago where he had mentioned that he was not done modeling, but he was done building models for his layout. He had completed his layout, and if you've ever seen his layout, it is a tabletop of buildings. He's got all these buildings that are completed, and yet he's got no track on it at all. Yes, Sparky, what is your question? Jason Jensen has all these buildings and no track. And he went on to explain that this isn't his first railroad. He built a railroad. His first railroad he built was all track. It was track everywhere, staging track, turns. It was all track. And he realized that he had no place to put buildings and structures. And it hit me like a bomb. And I'm like, this is exactly what's going on for me. not only am I having track issues, but I also built a layout. I will get to that New Haven Rails. We built this layout and designed this layout so that we designed it to run trains, and that's what we wanted to do. So John came over. Unfortunately, John hasn't been over here in like, I don't know, 2 months. This is how long. I'm not going to say it's a feud, but I brought the topic up to John, and John really wasn't happy. And it kind of caused a little quarrel between us. And for the first time in like 2 months, John was over here yesterday, and we had a good talk. We ran over some things, and then we shot a quick video. And the video is going to explain it all. So if you bear with me, I've got like a 3-minute video that I want to show you that we recorded yesterday. That's going to explain everything. Hang tight. I don't even know where to go with this. Hey guys, Rick and John here over at the Fultz Bailey Model Railroad. Sad day. In life, interests change, hobbies change. What you thought at one point, it changes the next minute. What am I trying to get at? 7 years ago, John and I went on a journey to build a model railroad, and we did that. And at the time, all we wanted to do was run a bunch of trains. So we set out to build a layout with 3 main lines, and we ran trains. And now we're running into issues. We're running into issues because there's more stuff that we want to do. There's more trains that we want to run that we're realizing that we can't do because of the way that we designed this originally. Not only that, but when we designed this 7 years ago, again, we designed it to run trains. And if you guys have seen any of my videos in the last couple of months, you'll notice that I got into modeling, and I love building things, and that's not something that I ever intended to do. It's something that I was afraid to do. It really wasn't an interest to me, and now it's a very big interest to me, and I'm slowly starting to realize that all of these buildings that I am building, they have no room here in the layout because the layout was never designed to have buildings on them. We knew that this was not going to be a switching layout. It wasn't going to be something where we were going to have tracks going to industries, and that still stands. But I'd like to see the buildings on the layout, and right now we can't do that. So we're going to rip it out, and we're going to redesign it. Not something I wanted to do. Not something we wanted to do. We're still having a tough time agreeing on what the layout should be or how it should be designed. But we're working through it. But for now, what we know for sure is that we have to start over. So with that being said, I'm going to give you guys one last look at this dirty, messy layout, because unfortunately, it's the last time either you or I are ever going to see it.
Trying to move.
Time to get to work. So there it is. I'm watching chat go by here, and there's a bunch of people saying, we've done it before. I've been there. It happens. I just never thought it would happen to me, I guess is I don't know. I guess there's a couple people in chat that are saying, "Yeah, I've been there. I'm on my umpteenth railroad." And well, I don't know. I guess since this is the first time I've had to do it, and I have no actual plan going forward, um, it kind of hurts. Where is the layout? I couldn't see it from the mess. Yeah, I know. I know. I kind of say that about yours too, Dwight, but we all try and find the track somehow. Um, oh, Jason, welcome. You just missed the announcement. Go back 5 minutes, 3 minutes. So yeah, I am proud of what we built, and I loved what we built, and it worked for a short time. Short time being 7 years. I mean, it took us that long to get where we're at, and not for any particular reason, but we weren't in a rush. We were enjoying the time spent together. Um, it just, I don't know. It kind of hurts. I don't know why. Um, so that's it. That's where I'm going. So John hasn't been around in a while, and when I brought this up and I said, look, John, we've got some problems, we got some issues, and we can't get around this. And the problem is the way that the room is designed. The room is not square. There is a cutout. um I wish I had a way of showing you this. We actually, another problem we had was we thought when we originally took the measurements of um what the baseboard is now, the actual work surface. And at the time we went and used um the Atlas branded software from Scarm, and we built our layout inside of that. And we went back yesterday and we were looking at it as we were redesigning it, and um we realized that the measurements were all wrong. I don't know why, I don't know how, but man, were they way off. And the problem is we built that layout on that base in the program, which was completely out of whack. And the so that was one problem. The other problem is the I don't know how to describe this layout. It's kind of weird. It's got this large section down in the bottom left hand corner, and then it goes up, over, and then back down again. It kind of almost, I don't know. I don't know what it looks like. It looks like a music note. Honestly, it looks like a music note. It's got this big giant section in the bottom, and then, like I said, it goes up straight. It goes across the back of the basement, and then it comes down a little bit, and that's about it. And the problem is there is no way to do a continuous loop. And the section at the bottom that is the largest will just about accommodate a 22-inch radius. I can't do any more because it'll fall off the layout. I can't do any shorter because then I run into problems. And I'll tell you when this all started. I'll tell you exactly when it all started. When I started second guessing this layout was Christmas of 2021, when I received the most awesome gift ever. I fell in love with the Pennsylvania P5A locomotive, and it will not run on this layout because of the 18-inch turns. Now, to solve this, I can, like New Haven Rail said, let's go back, let's do 22-inch curves. Well, that's possible, but then I run into a problem where the 22-inch curves mean I've got to expand the layout just a few inches, which is going to cut out some walking space, which we don't have a lot of now. Um, yeah, Roy, I'm not going to end scale on that big. Now, I've got too much invested in HO. I'm not going to end scale in that big. I will hopefully soon. I got to get with Jerry on finishing this end scale coffee table, and I'm comfortable with that. But I don't see myself playing with N scale all the time. It's too small. I would rather have the HO trains. I couldn't tell you what I would do in this space with an O scale layout. It wouldn't work. It just wouldn't work. So I can't make a continuous loop because I can't get to the other side of the layout with either a bridge or a drop down. That in itself brings up its own problems because then you've got to duck under the bridge, or you're constantly playing with a drop down, which is constantly screwing up the track it connects to. It's just been a whole host of issues. So it comes down to, we tried to make it work. We tried to make adjustments. Those adjustments didn't work. Those adjustments caused other issues. And I'm at the point now where, Tom, I can go through walls. Just after I do that, I will also be filing for divorce, which means I'm going to need your spare bedroom. So keep that in mind. Yeah. Now I went, Tom, I went that route too. I tried to make different calls for that, and that didn't work either. I'm on the fence about N scale layout. I'm thinking of switching to HO myself. I have a club, and they're running the N scale on. Awesome. So I'm an HO guy, and I want an HO layout, and it all started on a 4x8 sheet of plywood right over there. And that was taking up too much room from this room, aside from the desk that I'm sitting at, this little corner that I have. The rest of this room is my kids' playground, and it's their playroom. So that 4x8 sheet of plywood was taking up too much room. I made a deal to accommodate what was in that room, and I moved a bunch of stuff around. I built some shelves, got some stuff out of the way, put stuff up in the attic just to make room, because that originally was storage. And then it came out to, how are we going to design the layout? How are we going to do that? So just keep in mind that the only thing that's changing right now is the top deck. In case you don't remember, because I haven't shown it in such a long time, there is a second deck underneath of that layout. It is a staging yard. And there's also, here's another problem. Excuse me. There is a helix, and the helix is small. The helix is, I believe, 20 inches wide. It's a steep helix. The smaller cars will make it up there. The locomotives will make it up there. My switcher will make it up there by himself. But there is a helix, and it does run, and it's functional. It will be a part of the new layout. We just have to figure out how to work it in. Because right now, the way we're designing it and the way that the track comes out, it has its own issue. It literally, it comes across the layout. So Rick, go to a single main with sidings. You didn't need to have building service. So I thought of that, and you're right. I don't need service buildings, and I don't need industries, and I don't plan on doing operations. So that's not an issue. But I definitely want more than one train. I don't want to sit and look at just one train going around. If I have people over here, I want them to have the ability to follow both trains or look at both trains. The problem with the layout now, the way it is there's really just two sections of the layout that actually has space where you could put a somewhat of a town, which would probably only consist of about 6 buildings. There's one section down in that big bottom section, and then over on the other side, up in this area, there's room there for another section. But I was talking to a couple people about this, and the one problem that I ran into is when the train comes past that section, even if it's running super slow, they're going to follow the train around, and they're going to look at the train, and then they're going to go, oh, wow, okay, yeah, nice buildings, great. And then you've seen everything before the train even passed. So now you got to wait to follow this train all the way around to the other side to go look at the other houses. And then by the time you get there, it's the same thing. It's like, oh, hey, okay, great, nice buildings. And then you've seen it all and you want to leave. And I don't want that to happen. I want people to follow a train around. I want them to be able to look at the train. What about doing an around the room layout with a lift bridge? So there's other stuff in that room. There's the hot water heater, the HVAC system, the electrical stuff is in the corner. There are shelves that currently have storage stuff in there. And then there's the door to go in. I cannot go around the room. That's just not an option. We all run into frustrating issues when building layouts. So the funny thing is when we built the framework is in sections. And I built it that way in case I ever had to move it. So I can literally disconnect any piece of track and remove a 36 by 36 inch section. The funny thing is I've already had to do it once about 2 years ago when the air conditioner, the HVAC system was getting replaced. John had to come over in an emergency and help me take apart 3 of those sections so that the guys could actually get the new HVAC system down here. So we've already tested the concept of will it come apart and will it go back together? And that worked fine. Unfortunately, now that we've built everything on top and we've built the inclines and all that stuff in there, it's a little hard to take apart at this point. 15-inch radiuses, but what are you running on those 15-inch radiuses? Because I could tell you now, I just got some cars from Jason, who was he was selling some of his old stock, and I got some what do you call them? Center beam flat cars with wood loads on them. Yeah, they won't make it around an 18-inch curve. So they're not going to make it around a 15-inch curve. Like I said, some of the larger locomotives, they won't make it around there either. My P5A, because of the 6 axles that are in the center and they're the drive wheels, that doesn't go around an 18-inch curve either. Yeah, that's about it. Maybe Thomas the Tank. That's about it. Hey, Anthony, Georgia Sunbelt, welcome. Ray, I saw you pop in here, but I didn't get a chance to say hello. Sparky, you were hounding me a couple minutes ago about a question, and I don't think I ever saw the question. If the question's still relevant, post it up there again so I can see it. Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate that. I honestly, I don't think there's really much more that I can say about it. I'm at the point now where I'm honestly, I'm done with help because you can only put so much lipstick on a pig before a pig just becomes a pig. I've done the repairs. I've done suggestions. I've ripped out track and replaced sections of track where track was bad. None of that's working. And I don't want to spend hours on hours doing repairs. I just want to, I'm going to rip it out. That's kind of final. It's all going to come off. We're going to rework the track. We're probably going to take it from a 3-track main to a 2-track main so that we've got more room for these 22-inch curves. And we're going to rework that and hopefully put it back together. Unfortunately, it's probably going to take another 7 years before I can run a train again because I want to do it right. I want to lay the track down. I don't want to rush it like I rushed it before. Surprisingly enough, Rail Artist, I'm not going to lose a lot on this. I don't have much down on the layout except for cork and track. I'm going to lose all the cork, obviously, because that's been glued and whatnot and blah, blah, blah. The track is all salvageable because it's all been nailed down. It hasn't been glued. Some of it was ballasted, but the ballast I've already done before. I'm going to just wet that down with water, loosen up the glue. It's actually salvageable if you take the ballast and put it on like a cookie sheet with a piece of parchment paper on it and let it dry out after you get done wetting it and scraping it off. You can let it dry and then put it through you can either try and what I did before is I just got a bucket and a mallet and I just kind of crushed it all up in the bucket to make it back into, individual pieces and not clumps. Yep, it's all coming out, Anthony. It's all coming out. So I have salvaged ballast before. So that's not going to be a problem. The one thing that I definitely know I am going to lose are the 4 boxes of inclines that I bought. That's not a whole lot amount of money. I think they were maybe, I don't know, $25 to $30 when I bought them. So I don't know, do the math. What's that? $120 down the drain. Yeah, Mystic, I heard about your pod going missing. I'm sorry about that, bud. If there was any train stuff in it, I'll let you know if I find it. Yeah, Randall. Yeah, sometimes you just got to start over. So, as much as I love a good joke, and I've been letting you guys go wild with this one, and I really don't care. You guys have always said John built the layout, and the truth of the matter is I showed John the software and John designed the layout. And I'm not blame. I had this conversation with John and I've told him straight to his face. I don't blame you. I don't blame you for the layout. I don't blame the design. I'm way past the point of I don't care whose problem it was. I want to get it solved. And no, I'm not selling anything, Container Man. Everything that I have has a meaning, and I'm going to keep it that way. That's a good way to look at it, Sparky. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna try. I actually went. John and I went over to yesterday. We just made it in time to get to the local hobby shop, and I bought out all of their supply of Atlas 22-inch snap track so that we could put the pieces together and see how we can get around some of these corners and curves. Yep. Doing test fits. Yeah. That's what we're going to do. I still have the ability through the SCARM program to print out the full length, layout. And, I'll probably do that when we come up with a new plan. But that's it. Yeah, that's it right now. So it's all going to come out. I'm going to salvage what I can, which I think is going to be it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot that I'm going to be able to keep. I mean, it's all track. I did very little in scenery yet. Actually, as a matter of fact, that there was a point where I started scenery and then stopped because I started with these buildings and he built his layout on a single car drive. Yeah, it's possible. I'm not saying it's not. All I'm saying is it's an awkward space. It's a very awkward space. And the room that I have to work in and the way the layout has to be designed to do that is what's very frustrating. 24-inch and 26-inch radiuses are not going to work. they're not going to work. I'm going to be lucky if 22 works. In some places, I may be stuck with having to go as low as 20, but I got to get rid of these 18-inch curves. These 18-inch curves are killing me. And listen, in the beginning, I didn't have these large cars. I didn't have these center beam cars. I didn't have an SD70 Ace locomotive. I had a GP8 and a Dash 9, and these were little 4-axle locomotives, and I had a switcher, and everything was running fine. But now my rolling stock is getting bigger, and the locomotives are getting bigger, and the cars are getting articulated. I have 15 of those spline cars that carry containers and tractors on the back, the trailers on the back. Problem is, when I send them around the 18-inch curve, they go right in the middle and they squish up like a pile of doo-doo, and then I got to re-rail them all because the locomotive is pulling so hard that once it gets around the turn and there's 10 cars behind it, the pulling power is no longer behind the locomotive. It wants to go this way, and it just pulls everything directly towards the center, and everything goes to crap. So that's just another problem. So there's a nice house with a big garage for sale across the street from me. Yeah, I would in a heartbeat, if I could get the wife to agree to that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Someone just did an hour-plus show on how to do a curve. Yeah, and at one point, wait a minute. Sparky's yelling at me. Hold on. I had a feeling he was going to say something. I have a ton of Bachman Easy Track going to Scranton in October. All right, we'll talk about that, Sparky. That may be an option. The message can wait. Too late. Build a building in the backyard. Okay, so here's that runs me into another problem. Container Man, you're gonna find this surprising, but I have no backyard. So the way that they built my house, I'm sitting on a corner property, and I have a lot of space in the front of my house to get to the street. I have a very small section on the side that has a tree. And then where you would normally have a backyard is my driveway. There is no backyard. I have a front door on one side, and I have a back door, supposed back door, that leads to a driveway. So there is no place to build such building. I would love to. It's not a possibility. No backyard. No backyard. You have a great layout and run a lot of trains using 4. Yeah. I mean, and that could be, but you get enticed by all the other things that you want to see and you want to run. For example, had I known that these articulated container cars, these well cars wouldn't run, I wouldn't have spent $120 on buying them if I knew they weren't going to run. But now that I have them, it's a waste of money to not make it work. My train shed was $60,000, so a train shed is not a cheap option. I believe you. I believe you. I found that if you go to your wife and you tell her the problem, she will usually come up with some space. Yes, you're absolutely right. And the only space that she could come up with was, you can move out. The attic is not an option. Number one, it's not a finished attic. It is it is there. There's only about a 6-week window in the year where the environment up there is okay. And that is right after pretty much the springtime is probably it. And it's really, like I said, it's really short. The winters are cold because again, it's not a finished attic. And if it's 95 degrees here on the East Coast, it's 112 in that attic. So the attic's not an option. Not to mention when I cleaned out all the junk back here just to get to this space, that's where it all went, in the attic. Not to mention the attic, I can't even stand up in. It's really like a crawl space. So putting a layout up there is not an option either. There's Nisi. How are you, dear? Yeah, I appreciate that, Roy, but I really like them and I really want them. I'm not saying that I want to get rid of them. Because I do want them and I want them to work, and I want a layout that will let them run. I do not have any auto racks, so nothing to worry about there. It helps to pick a railroad place error, saves you money and decisions. I you may have a point there, but that's too much research for me. I don't want to stick to, I can only run cars that were built from the 1960s to the 1980s. I don't want that. The railroad is mine. It was built by me. It was it was built by us. I don't care what runs on it as long as it runs. So if I can have well cars, flat cars, trailer cars, CSX, BNSF, I don't care. It's gonna if it's there, if I like it, it runs. I mean, honestly, to tell you the truth, the Burlington Northern stuff that I have, I only run it because green is my favorite color. So oh my, oh my. My 5th bedroom cost less than $20,000. Yeah, I wish I had room to put a 5th bedroom. This is what happens when you have 3 kids. You know? So I mean, listen, I've even tried to talk to my wife and say, listen, if we take the 2 girls and we bunk the 2 girls in one room, then that would free up a room. And honestly, that room would be smaller than this room here. So I would have no choice but to run just a loop layout. That didn't fly over well either. Yeah, there you go. I run what I like. And that's the other thing. Like I'm not a big steam person, mostly because the smaller steam engines can only pull so many cars. The bigger steam engines, I can't run because they won't go around these curves. So it's not that I'm not a big fan of steam. I love steam. I mean, when I went to Stroudsburg in May, I was in awe to stand next to this machine that was 3 times the height as me. And if any of you guys have met me or know me, I'm a tall guy. I don't have to look up for many things. I had to look up to see this locomotive. It was massive. I loved it. It was to think that man built that, and it's been running for how many years? I don't have a problem with steam. I love steam. The problem is steam doesn't love the layout. So I'm getting bit in the ass on that one. Yeah, green is good. I mean, Rick the tree, right? How could you go wrong with green? It's funny. I was always when I got into 6th grade, I was 6'5" when I was in 6th grade. So that's what, 12, 13 years old. I've been the same height since 6th grade. And since I was 12, I've always been called a tree. So when it came to YouTube and, I put that costume on, not thinking anything of it. And I got nicknamed Rick the Tree. It just brought back so many memories, so many horrible memories, but memories nonetheless. And, yeah, I have no problem with Rick the Tree. Rick's problem is not the size of his layout. It's the fact that he has no room for buildings and good for switch and going for. Yeah. And It's not so much the switching, because I'm not worried about that. It's the fact that I have a lot of track. I'm running a lot of track, and now that track is not liking the cars that I want to put on it, and I have no place to put these beautiful buildings that I'm building. I mean, I'm not keeping account, but in the last 8 weeks, I think I've built 8 buildings. Those have been my Wednesday. I've put a video out every Wednesday for the last 8 or 9 weeks. I've been pounding these things out, and I got to be honest with you, I'm loving it. I'm having a great time building these buildings. Uh, I work a lot with. I work a lot with. I know my hands are going like this because I'm just so nervous. Um, that's what I meant that for. Um, I have a great partner, Nisi. Nisi and I paired up for the Build Crew 2.0. And I didn't know, a lot of Nisi at the time. I know she had a channel. I know she was a part of the community, but we hadn't talked other than, the one time that she was on my show. And then we got paired up for the Build Crew 2.0, and I made an awesome friend. Me and Nisi talk at least, I don't know, 3 to 4 times a night. We model together. She works on stuff for her layout while I'm working on stuff for my layout and stuff for these videos. We bounce ideas off each other. I mean, I couldn't ask for, a better partner to have been paired up with, and now I have a great friend, and it gives me this time to build these things, and I'm loving every minute of that now. And ever since, I was never a kid who I'm touchy feeling just saying. I was never a kid who was a modeler when I was younger. I didn't do model cars. I didn't do like building. I had Legos. Legos was about the best modeling that I ever did. But those were just kits. I wasn't really, I wasn't a builder. I didn't build buildings of my own and things like that. Um, he threw me. Listen, don't give them the wrong idea. Let's be honest. We weren't really that close, sister. um, so when I was a kid, I wasn't much of a builder, and I didn't have a model railroad. All I had was dad's trains, at Christmas time. So 8 years ago, 9 years ago, what was it, 8 years ago, when I pulled this stuff out of my attic, these boxes, these unknown boxes, and I saw they were the trains that got moved here when, after my mom passed away and me and my sister settled the house. Um, I pulled them out and I started running them. The train that I had was an old Santa Fe. I think it's an RS1 or an RS2. So it was, this little switcher that would have pulled 6, 7 cars. And I had it going around a loop. And that was great. Yeah, and you know what? I tried my hand at building blue box cars. It didn't work out so well. Um, but back to the story. When I built the railroad, even the loop that I had a year ago, 8 years ago, I built it so that I could run trains. But then the trains started going around in this loop, and I got tired of that. And that's when I met John, or John and I became friends. And I brought John over, and the first thing he said was, we got to make this bigger. And that's where we went. And the intention was make it bigger so that we can run trains. And we did that. And we ran trains. We ran trains for the next 7 years. And then the opportunity to build crew came around. And the very first thing that I ever built from plastic, other than Legos, was that bridge. And I got to be honest with you, when I got to talking with Ray and with JD, And we were going through this whole process. And, we had our weekly checkups. How you doing? How's everything? Da, 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 da. I mean, Ray will tell you today, me and JD, from the East Coast, it's 11, 12, 1 o'clock at night. And I'm texting JD because he's still awake, because that's the only time that I had to work on the bridge, because the kids were now asleep upstairs. Well, back then I only had the one. It was Kenzie. She was just a newborn. So I'm down here at night building a bridge, and I'm texting the group, and I can just see Ray sitting in his bed at night, having to get up at work early the next morning, and his phone's just going brr, brr, ding, ding. And me and JD are just going back and forth. And the positive comments that I got from Ray and from JD, and how well they thought I was doing, I thought they were just, beefing up, trying to, make me feel good. I didn't know that I was doing a good job. I had no clue. Because I had no idea what I was doing, but I was following the plans that I was given, and that's what I was going off of. And it worked. And now I got this bridge, and everyone thinks the bridge is phenomenal. And I think the bridge is phenomenal. And that's as far as I was going to go with it. But then I started building buildings. I thought to myself, if I could do this, then I could build other things. So I started getting buildings. I started buying things, and I've got them stored. Actually, as a matter of fact, the first buildings that I thought that I was going to build are actually still underneath the layout. I haven't even built them yet. I've got 7 or 8 buildings still in boxes, between Donnie's Diner, which is a Walther's kit, and Bailey's First National Bank, which is a Walther's kit. I've got every single one of the Walther's Merchants Row, except for the new one that just came out. I don't like that one. I'm not saying read the instructions, but if you ask Ray will tell you, if you have a life-size diagram, that's better. Yeah, the Central Valley kit gave me a full-size diagram of what that bridge should be. All I had to do was follow this, and I built a bridge, and that worked. I had intentions on having this framed. If you remember, I used to have it up on this wall. I have another intention for this wall now, but I keep these plans near me on my desk all the time as a reminder of, you can do this. That's my inspiration. So I did a lot of talking, and tell us why you're so anxious. Take a breath. I don't know why. I thought what I was building was a masterpiece. I thought what we were building was a masterpiece. I loved it. And to come to the realization that I think it's more, okay. If I could relate it to anything, I didn't build this house. This house was here. I bought it. If God forbid, knock on wood, something were to happen to this house, okay, I lost the house that I bought. But that layout I built. Now, if something were to happen to the layout, then, crap happens. But the fact that the next time that I have to walk through that door, I know that I have to tear it out. I have to tear it out. I don't know. It hurts. 7 years. And now I have to destroy it. That's what's got me so nervous. That's what's got me so anxious. I didn't want to have to do that. And Did John build the bridge? No, John did not build the bridge. I will not give him credit for that. That was mine and mine alone. And I've got two guys that will attest to that. There's video of me building that bridge. Go back. There's a playlist of me building that bridge. So I got to be honest with you. It's been a couple months. It's been a long couple months. Like I said, this thing in my head, this has been bothering me since January. When I realized that Pennsylvania P5A would not run, change was inevitable at that point. There was no going around that. Change was inevitable. It just took 8 months now to realize that the inevitable is here. And as I'm buying more things and these more things are not working, I want the new things. I want the new models. I want, I don't want to be stuck in one place with, oh, I can only run small things, or this layout doesn't work with big things. I want to be able to run big things. One of my biggest pet peeves with Ray is I have the biggest. I can't sit here and say I have the biggest, but my biggest doesn't work. That's not going to fly. I don't feel comfortable with that. And, yes, I just saw something from Grandpa. Yes. Like, as I think I mentioned it a little while ago, 15, 20 minutes ago, I think the only thing that I'm losing is the inclines, because those were hot glued in and they're not going to come back out nicely. I will tell you this, the one thing that I am changing, that's what she said. You got it, bud. You got it. The one thing that I will be changing, something that John insisted on, when we first built this thing, was he didn't want to do it on he didn't want to build the layout on a large amount of foam. And I disagreed. So we went with like I think it was like a 1/4 inch, maybe even an 1/8 inch of foam. So I had nothing between that foam and the plywood underneath, which always bugged the hell out of me. I wish that I could have put the inclines in and used the barbecue skewers like Sparky did. Then I wouldn't have to be tearing these things out and losing much. What did I learn? Well, I learned a lot. What do you want to accomplish going forward? And can it only get better? Awesome comment. Let's dissect that for a minute. It's the layout you guys built. Yes, the layout was built by me and John. It's a group effort. Him and I did it together. It's our baby. I'm not taking credit from him at all. I know a lot of times I get on here and I say I, but that I is really a we, and I don't want to take credit from John at all. He's been a big help with this. And honestly, to tell you the truth, I really don't work on the layout unless John's here, because I like the company and I work better when I'm with someone than when I'm not. So I would rather have John here and us work on it together than me go in there and just put this thing together. What did I learn? I learned a lot. Building this railroad. I learned about super elevation was something big that I learned that we needed. I learned that I need more patience and stop rushing the job. I learned that you need the right tools. Don't hamshack it. I also learned build what you want and don't settle. And if you find yourself settling, find a way to make it work that you are comfortable with, because I could tell you right now that the way that bridge went in, I don't like it. Was I willing to live with it? Absolutely. But that bridge is going to go in a different place this time. I'm tired of dancing around it and having to take it out and put it in. I think that bridge is going to become a staple somewhere on the layout rather than being the lift out that it was. What do you want to accomplish? I want to be able to run trains, and I want to be able to display my creations, and I want them to coexist. That's what I want to accomplish. I don't want a train layout and a building display. That's what I don't want, because right now that's what I have. I've got an entire shelf up there of all the buildings that you guys have watched me build, and they're just sitting there because I can't put them in there right now. Going forward, can it only get better? It can get better. It can get better, and it will get better. And the best part is, I promise you this time, I will bring you along. There will be more videos. There will be more shorts. There will be more. I don't know if there will be more live shows, but the one thing that I'm not going to do, and I don't mean this in any disrespect to anyone, when this live stream started, I very much appreciated a comment that Anthony Dodge made, where he said, let Rick talk and stop giving him help. I appreciate your help. Don't get me wrong. I love your guys' feedback. But what I don't like seeing is, you have to do it this way. You can't do it that way. This is the way that it's going to work. Your idea sucks. Those kind of comments is what's going to stop me from posting videos. I will bring you guys along, but just know that this is my railroad. This is going to get built the way I want it. And if I have to tear it out again, at least it's on me. Because if I start taking your suggestions on how to build this thing, it's then going to become your fault. And I'm going to let you know it. So I just want to put that out there. I do appreciate your comments. I love all the comments that you guys leave in all my videos. I love when you guys give help. Just don't be pushy about it. And not just towards me, but let's treat everyone in the community the same way. There's not just one way to build a railroad. And I think we all need to just remember that from time to time before we start writing comments. Because there have been times where it's gotten bad, guys, and you know it. And you know it. But I don't want to go down that path. I don't want to go down there. Yes. Bulletproof benchwork and electrical. I have to tell you this. The benchwork that I built is solid. We did do that right. The electrical system was done by me. That was also my design. It's a little sloppy, but and by sloppy, I don't mean, no, it's not sloppy. It's once you realize what's going on down there and the way that I have everything wired, it makes sense. The wires are not well kept, I will put it that way, but it's not sloppy work. So the bench work is good. The electrical is good. Even the bottom deck where the rail yard is, that's good. The rail yard I haven't had an issue with. Now, granted, I have not run anything in that yard in more than 5 years. because we haven't had anything. We couldn't send anything down there. We couldn't run anything. It's basically a balloon loop with six or seven tracks in the middle of the balloon. And that's the rail yard. So that being said, the helix will stay. And the only reason the helix is staying is because I cannot make the helix any bigger. That's not an option. So it's going to have to stick to the 20-inch curve that it is. I will run up what I can run up, and the things that I cannot run up will only stay on the layout itself. I'm missing a bunch of comments, I know. Thank you, Jimbo Trains. Appreciate that. Just going through here, trying to keep up to date. Yes. Sinatra, baby. Make the benchwork fit the available space and then work in that space. That's right, Joe. And that's exactly what I did. And so I can't expand anymore, or I'm going to start taking up, I can't understand why people use foam and plywood. If you use 2-inch foam, would be submission support, support up to 1,000 pounds. The only reason that I did it is because my electrical system is mounted on the plywood underneath. So the wires are actually the wires are mounted to the plywood underneath. I can't say that anymore. Any other way. I haven't found another way in order to do that works for me. So we put the plywood on there. The only other reason that we did it was because there's a couple of the sections of the layout where, in order to get to the back, we've got to lean onto the layout in order to reach some things. I did not want to crack through foam in order to reach there. Absolutely, I'm keeping Rita. She actually might come here and help us rebuild, Tom. You never know. The other thing was, John, I think I started this comment before. John, for some reason, was not a big fan of foam. I wanted to put at least an inch, maybe an inch and a half, even 2 inches of foam on the top of this layout. John said he didn't want to do that. He wanted to see if we could do it with something really thin. So we went with a 1/4-inch plywood and then like an 1/8 of an inch foam. So really the top of the layout is barely an inch thick. Will that be changing? Oh, yeah. Yes, it will. Yep. Liquid nails for foam. Yes, it's actually called liquid nails for projects. That's what's safe for foam. The other stuff will eat through your foam and just doesn't stick. Switch machines, wiring, all need supportive wood. That they do. All right. Well, I can't believe it that I have actually been on here live by myself for an hour and 10 minutes. And you guys have been awesome in chat, talking amongst yourselves and firing questions at me. I am not going to take it to any offense if no one really wants to, but I'm going to go ahead and post the link for the StreamYard in the chat. If anybody wants to pop up here and chat or talk or have any comments or anything at all, be my guest. Pop in the bottom. I'll bring you right on up. How do I get that to go away? There, remove from studio. Awesome. That was my video. Sorry. So there's the link popped up there. Feel free. I need something to drink. I should have got water towers for this. or at least spiked my lemonade, one or the other. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. All right, we got our first victim.
Hey, Rick.
Oh, we got another one. All right, wait, let me switch this. Randall, how you doing?
Hey, what's happening?
Oh, same old, same old. John, how are you?
I'm all right.
Awesome, awesome.
I can't see any of the rest of you though.
Why not?
I'm just seeing my little picture again.
Uh-oh. We're all here, I can promise you that. We see you. Everyone sees you. Are you using your phone or your computer?
My computer.
You should be able to see all of us.
Unless I got to be on YouTube to do it.
No, you should be able to look at the StreamYard. The StreamYard window should have it. Oh, now he's gone.
He may be having signal problems.
Yeah, it could be. I knew you were going to pop in here.
Hey, Sparky.
I can't leave this one alone. Like, why are you just so excited over something that we all do?
Probably because it's my first. Probably. That's the only thing I can think of. Is the only thing I can think of. I honestly, to tell you the truth, I'm there have been points where I've just looked at that door and I get sick to my stomach. Because like I said, I got to walk through that door and I got to rip something out that I've spent 7 years to create. And I know you guys have all done it, but I bet you the first time that I spent 7 years to create. Oh, come on, Artie. Hit that mute button. The first time. All right, we're going to mute him real quick. I bet you the first time that you guys had to do it, you guys had to feel the same way.
So remember the first time I did it, I had my layout in the basement. I started YouTube and everything else, and I had a flood.
Right. I remember that.
My biggest thing, you know what? I'm done. I can't do this anymore.
Hey, Daryl.
Everybody.
Hey, Randall.
Right? So
hey, Artie. Sparky.
Hey, buddy.
Rick.
Now that everybody's done talking. But no, you've got a layout. You've learned so much from it. You've gone from 18, 15 rating curves to something that doesn't work. What you want to do. So why are you trying to so hard for yourself?
I don't know. I don't know.
Like
I don't
know. The guy that's trying to kick you in the ass. But this is just something that all of us are going to do. It doesn't matter if you're a first timer or if you've been around here for many years. You're going to redo your layout. Yes, you've done an awesome layout. It is your dream layout for what you've done. But now it's time to look at everything that you've learned, everything that you've seen, and just grow from there and make it the biggest and the best thing that you can possibly do. Heath has a closet.
You're right.
Heath has a closet that he does his layout in. You have more room than he does.
Yeah, I've been to that closet.
Yeah, I know you have. Your head almost hit the ceiling. So, what so like is New Haven Rails also suggested another thing. Send the dimensions of your room to him or to a couple other people and ask them for a track plan and see what they come up with. Because you walk in that and what you see is your layout today. So you cannot grow your layout from today to tomorrow because you have that track plan stuck in your head. So you need
You're right.
somebody else to look at that and give you ideas that you can take forward from there.
You're right. You're right.
That's just my
So
advice.
no, you are so right. I can't argue that one bit. You're right. You're right. And let's be honest. This YouTube channel, and for me, this getting to know all of these people, it's all your fault. It's all your fault. So, but I'm not gonna argue that at all. I've learned so much from everyone in the community, and all I'm doing, I don't think that I've come up with one original idea. I mean, it's been, I'm just following all what you guys are doing, and that's what's making it work.
Have you ripped up your layout yet?
No.
Is you're gonna get the camera, do a live run on the layout. You just, and you were fun with it.
Oh no.
And then when it's all done, the next live you rip. The reason why that, then you've always have something to look back on. Oh, what? But look what I'm doing better today.
You're right.
If
You're
that's
right.
right. Just are you?
Oh, I had all intentions of filming the destruction.
Oh, don't just film the destruction. Film have today. You are very sentimentally attached to what you've got. So do it.
That's what I was thinking, dude. It's exciting. You should be excited about this.
It should be, but sense. Go play with your. We all get pissed off when people say, "Oh, you're going to go play with trains." Guess what? Rick's go play with it.
That's what I say all the time when I open up my videos. I play with trains. That's exactly what I do, and I'm not afraid to say it.
See,
Yeah,
and
but
this is what I love. This is what I love, because I was looking at this wrong the entire time. And I probably should have said something 7 months ago, and I would have probably been on the road to starting. But I let this thing boil up in my head, in my gut, and I got so disgusted with it, and it caused an issue between me and John. And now I'm like, I got. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Whenever you say you got an issue between you and John, I just think of you guys cuddling for Super Bowl. I'm sorry. It was
that damn hockey game. I swear. Oh.
So this has happened?
I am not cuddling with that guy.
That's what he said.
He cuddled with Artie that night, not me.
So, Rick, I don't know what else to tell you.
I didn't feel the warmth either.
Is there something I should know?
On people's live streams, stuff like that. Rick, and I went through what you're through because of my flood. I had to. And buddy, what you learn, what you don't think you've learned yet, transpire onto the next layout. It's awesome. Community is a place to do that. Sure, you're going to get people that say you've got to or you have to, but the big thing you got to remember is when you want somebody to give advice, if you don't want advice, then, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
With saying that, I'm going to hit the red X unless you want me to say one more thing.
You can stay or you can go. Sparky, thank you so much
Should
for
I stay or should I
such
go
a
now?
big inspiration for me. And let's see if we can get together at Scranton I would very much appreciate just seeing you again. You're like a brother. I appreciate it.
Bye, my friend. So,
Don't let John know,
Cheers,
but
Bobby.
I would cuddle with you.
yeah, it's here. All right, guys. I'm out.
I'm not
Okay,
sure.
good
where
night.
that's going,
Thank you,
but-
Sparky. I appreciate it.
Be good.
See you, Sparky.
Just do what makes you happy, Rick.
The thing,
Will
the
do.
thing that I,
Agreed.
yeah, the thing that I found, especially with my layout, and I can see where the frustration is coming from you, Rick. You got restricted space, you got limited space, and you want to make it work, but you want to get the trains running. And sadly, it just takes time to get it working out right. I mean, I've got about as much space as what you have in my back room. Okay, I haven't got a heater, I haven't got an air conditioning, I haven't got the laundry in there, whatnot. But to get what I want to what I can have, I have to be a bit realistic. I've been sitting down the last 8 weeks working on how I'm going to plan on doing, like as you always know, I'm going up. How can I make all my curves work? How can I get all my passenger trains working? But I've got limited space. I want to put hidden stylings in and hidden staging, but last night I done a bit of a mock-up plan of what my layout's going to be like with the track that I have on the floor. Measured out the floor. It's going to be 4.5 foot by 8 foot. And I sat down and worked out how it's going to work. The plan that I had isn't going to work. Like my top layer, as I said, it's going to be too thick, and I don't want it to go in too thick with my next level that's usually beside me. Because what's going to happen is instead of having the trains in my eye level, I'm going to be looking up like this.
Mm.
So the hidden stage I'm going to be having underneath it, I'm scrapping it. It would have been nice, but it's like, well, I just
Do I want to step on a stool to look at it?
Yeah, but I don't want to. I want to be able to sit down like I am now and just twirl around with my seat and watch my trains go around.
Bam, there it is.
Yeah, I don't want to be going up like this. I want to sit down and watch the trains running. If I have the live, like we're having a live chat and whatnot, everybody can see the trains running in my background. Right?
Yeah, I like that. Just like Daryl.
Oh, I heard my name. Hello.
Oh, we're just talking about trains running in the background, how you do it.
Oh, me, I'm good. Me, I'm good. Look, before I built this layout that sits behind me, I had a 8 foot by 12 inches wide for about a year and a half. That's it. That's all I had.
Point to point.
And it had no scenery on it. And all I wanted to do was just switch out a couple things, and that made me happy. You can only do what you have in space.
Thanks, John.
And that's it. Rick, I don't even know what kind of space you have. I have no idea, but it's just amazing the spaces that we do have and how people fit them in. And I think this is a good lesson learned. And for all of us, Rick, we've all done it. All of us have done it.
Yeah.
You got a great support behind you.
What I would suggest, okay, I'm not an expert or try and be smart ass or anything like that. But what I would suggest you guys to do, find a floor space somewhere. Draw up your plan, what you would like to do, and give yourself a bit of options, right? Lay the track down, measure it out, mark it all out. That's the square, that's my limit. This is what I can work in. Work your track plan on the floor. When you get it worked out, take a photo of it, and go back to the board. There's your plan. It's on the floor. It's going to work there. If it's going to work on the floor, it's
aren't you going to keep your bench work, brother?
Oh yeah, the bench work will stay. So I can
okay.
certainly work it on top of the bench work.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because what?
then you've already got it all figured out. That's perfect.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I
I
remembered you saying
I just
that.
got to come up with a track plan that's going to work.
Yeah. Because see, in my back room, as stupid and dumb as it sounds, I've actually got masking tape on my carpet. Right?
I know what you're doing. You're laying it out.
I've actually marked out where my layout is going to sit. That is the space I am going to. I cannot go out of that space with my track plan. It's got to stay within that boundary. I worked out my track plan last few days, and it's going to work. I've had to modify it. I had to tweak it. That's the best solution. I mean, we all got our dream layouts. I mean, I wanted to have a continuous double track throughout the whole layout. But because I'm trying to go in the broader radiuses, that's why I've added an extra 6 inches to the 4 foot. I can actually add bigger curves to have my passenger trains run. But I had to cut out the double track in one section and make it a single track, just so it can all work and it all blends in without over clustering my layout with tunnels and cuttings and whatnot. Because I'm already, scenery wise, I'm already going to have a challenge with just doing the scenery itself on the bottom layer, top layer also. But I worked out how I can get around with it. But your track plan, set it down on the floor. You know? Use a carport if you need to. Or with a garage at the front or out the backyard. Mark out, that's where I'm going to work it. That's our square. That's where our tracks are going to work. You use it, said you got, 22-inch Atlas track. Snap track.
Right.
That's your curves. You can work it out. Go out the backyard, mark your measurements out. Put it together. Yes, that's going to work. Can I add something else? Add it. Oh, that's not going to work. Take it out and put something else in. That'd be the best one. G'day, Gary. How are you, bud? Turn off your air conditioning, buddy. It's getting too cold here. Yeah. So that's my 2 cents.
That's
You
right,
don't have to take it, but that's how I do it.
No, I appreciate your 2 cents.
Well, and look at it this way: if you're saving the bench work, the hard part's already done.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Once you have clear deck, everything will start flowing.
Yep.
Hopefully more excitement will hit you and you'll just get into it. You won't even remember this part.
That's what I'm hoping. That's the plan.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
The hardest layout that I built, wasn't actually a small layout. It was the big one that I did. You guys seen the big one that I had with multiple trains that was in the shot. That one was my hardest layout because I had a train climbing up and I had to work my heights, but try to get the climb. But between the layers, I had to work at my heights and also not to have the grades too steep. That one was my biggest challenge because I got at the front, I got an illusion that the train was going into a tunnel. But people were expecting the train to come at the other end, but it didn't. It actually looped itself down to the bottom. I had two.
That's cool, Hardy.
And on the 8-foot sections, they actually wound down like a record, like a reel to reel. It actually worked its way down. But it created an illusion that the train's going to come out the other side. Okay,
Sorry, I was just saying hi to my niece.
Oh, hello,
niece. I want to answer Heath's question that I had posted up there. Why are you limiting yourself to the existing bench work? Why not consider replacing it to match the needs of the new layout? The current bench work that is there is maximized for the room. I have no more room to make any other adjustments.
Makes sense.
There's no
Exactly.
place to put or move or adjust in any way. If I change the layout in any way at this point, all I would be doing is sacrificing room to walk. And I don't know if you've ever noticed, if any of you have met me, but I've got a gas tank that I carry around with me, and it's very hard for me and John to pass each other with a full gas tank. It's not a 6-pack; it's a 12-pack in the making. You know
What
I
are
mean?
you talking about? Are you talking about an actual gas can?
He's been eating too much.
No,
He's been eating.
No, seriously. You said gas can. I'm thinking you're carrying around a 5. I can see you carrying around a 5-gallon gas can. I just had to ask. I had no idea. I didn't know if you're going to light something on fire or something. I don't know.
No,
I've never heard that before.
I'm a big guy.
Well, you
and
said you're a big guy.
I have a large gut. That's my gas tank.
Oh, geez, Rick, I'm sorry. I know. I literally took you for what you said. You're carrying around a 5-gallon gas can. That's how I saw
No,
it.
it's not a 5-gallon gas tank. No, sorry, I confused you. Bad joke on my end.
Okay.
Peace out, Joe.
All right.
He's been eating too many tarts. That's his problem. Turner cut back his tarts.
I'm on my way to a keg. But the funny thing is, I don't drink. I married an Italian, so it's all pasta. So
wow.
Oh, pasta's good.
Okay.
I am fed very well. I'll put it that way.
Some shrimp and some cheese, a little bit of pasta. You got a good night.
Judge by the way the person looks. I just, I never even thought it that way. But I could see that you're a tall man. I mean, but I didn't see anything else. So okay. Oh, I'm glad to know you're not carrying around a 5-gallon gas can. Okay, we're done with that. So
Heath, just to comment on that, less bench work means less trains. Less bench work means less place to put these amazing buildings. Right. So I don't know if I can sacrifice less bench work.
Well, there is a saying, less is more. There is a saying, less is more. You just gotta.
That's true.
You just gotta figure out, Rick. When I did this layout in this garage, this is probably my probably 4th or 5th layout at this current location. This time was the last time. I just wrote down on a piece of paper what I wanted. I just said I wanted a double main layout. I didn't want no inclines. I wanted to pass through mountains, and I wanted a beautiful water scene, which sits behind me, and a beautiful canyon. That's it. And I have no towns, no cities. It's about trains and movement. That's all you need to do, brother, is just sit down on a piece of paper, just put 1 through 10. What is most important to you? And then go from there.
And I see what you're saying, and I absolutely agree with your saying. The only problem with that is that's the way it started 7 years ago.
Okay.
And now it's shifted. Because 7 years ago, when John and I designed this layout and began building this layout, it was exactly what you had in mind. It was trains, track. I want to see things run. I want to see trains go around. I was not a modeler then. I was not a structure builder then. And then I got into the build crew, the bridge. Well, back then it was the bridge guys, and Ray and JD and myself. We built our Center Valley bridges, and I got that little itch. I got that bug in my ear, and I thought I could do this.
Yeah.
Because when I was a kid, I think I mentioned before, when I was a kid, I didn't build models. I didn't do, I didn't build the 57 Chevy and, the Panzer tanks or, the Mustang air fighters. I wasn't a modeler. I didn't do that. The only thing that I had to model with were Legos, and all I did was follow the plans. So when I built that bridge and that bridge came out and I saw and heard, all the great compliments from Ray, from JD, from everyone in the community, I was like dumbfounded that you guys think that I did this well. And then I thought, man, I could do this. And so then the shift started. After that, I built something else. After that, I built something else, to where now, at the rate that I'm going, I'm building one building every week. And that's where the problem comes in. So the layout that we designed 7 years ago, that very much had the same idea as yours, now has to accommodate for something that was never in the concept.
Can I just make a comment? Just a quick one here. Creepy made a comment here. Don't forget, Rick, you also have height to use. So you can actually use your height to get your extra space. If you have a look at his old layout, he had a small bedroom. The way he used the height and everything else, he made it work. His bedroom layout was a little bit different to what I've got, but he actually had a very nice layout built in a small space as well. And like with with what I'm working on now, because I'm working on how I'm going to throw in my city scene, because my track's going to be spiraling up, and Creepy just hit it there. What I end up doing is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise my city up and sit above the layout. I mean, I want to see the trains, but the city is going to sit up on top, and it's going to crouch over. I want to see the sections of the railway line. And it's going to crouch over.
Oh, Tom, you got to close YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see.
You can go up. You can always go up with your city soon. You can find a spot and go, right, okay, I can go over the way. You can always go up. Yeah. So it's just
Tom, I think you still have the YouTube screen open. We're getting feedback on our end.
Rick, I think we should bring you should bring Rita up here and see what she thinks.
She's actually quite busy at the moment, so I can't. Yeah, you don't want that to happen right now.
No. She's busy at the moment. Yeah. So yeah, you can always go up. I mean, just use your imagination.
Yeah. I'll have to talk to John about that. I don't know if that's an option. Yeah.
Sky's the limit. Remember. Oh, here we go. What happened to him? What did you do to him?
To who?
To John. Look at him.
I don't know. I didn't do anything.
Uh-oh.
All his hair falling out. Did you stress him out that much?
So, Rick, I asked
How's it going, Tom?
All right. How wide is your bench work from the wall to your,
I'll be back in a moment.
Depending on which side you look at, it goes anywhere from 36 inches up to 67 inches.
That's a good width then, because I got a gift from Sparky's Christmas show, and it was an 86-inch car carrier, and I couldn't run that anywhere on the 18-inch radiuses that I had. So that's why I built.
Exactly.
That's why I built my third level, because I got 24-inch radiuses up there, and it runs on that now.
Yeah, but it's got to eat at you that's the only place it can run.
Yeah. Sometimes, yeah. And I've been making a lot of buildings with my 3D printer to fit in the layout, because some of the buildings you buy, from Walter and stuff like that, they're too big. And I design my own buildings, and that makes it fit in there nicely.
I'm gonna see if I can bring up. See if I
Sparky
have
had
a
Rick. Sparky had Sparky had a great comment for the panel.
Agreed.
Have they ever started over, and how did they feel? So, Daryl, you had mentioned that you were on your 4th layout now
For this location.
Wow.
So when you built your first layout at this location, what was the reason that you tore it out?
Because I bought bigger trains. I started buying things that I couldn't get on my layout, and I finally realized that I couldn't run them. So I'm just going to tell you how it felt to rip out a layout that you put countless time and hours and money and effort in. It was horrifying. It was awful. I cried. But I knew,
and that's
exactly, Rick. And I'm telling you, it hurt, because not only did it hurt me, it hurt my wife, because she had helped me. And but there's always a silver lining. You just grow from there. And I just watched a lot of you guys. Look, guys, I've only been here for only 9 months, okay? But I've been watching all of you guys for years. And I've gotten everything off of you guys for all these years, and from my grandpa and my father. So I've taken what I've learned, and every time I rip it out, it goes better, and it goes better, and it gets bigger, and it gets stronger. And like I said, Rick, on the other side of my layout, it's still there. It's been there now for like 2 or 3 years. It's 16 inches wide, 8 feet long. That's the way I had it for many years. You know,
nice.
So, but yeah, ripping out I cried. So there you go.
Yeah, it is hard. Like with the small layout that I had in my old bedroom, which I had in Funday Friday a couple of weeks ago, where I had the town scene, I had to rip all that apart and redo it again. I had a problem in the far section where the trains just kept on derailing. And I had the Pico curve points. The radiuses were just out, and I had a similar problem what Dwight was having with train derailments. But my biggest problem was my geometry was out. So I had to pull all that apart, but also had to pull out the top scene to get to the bottom scene, because I had track issues down there too. That was my mistake, because I didn't allow for heat expansion, and the track went like this. So I had to pull the whole. Okay, I didn't have to pull down the whole layout, but I pulled down half the layout apart and start all over again. And that was actually heartbreaking, because it put a lot of work into it. And when I went back to it, I mean, it didn't look the same, but at least it worked at the end. And I reused it on the big one.
Nice.
All right. I am going to, if I can get back to the screen here. Hang on for a second. I'm going to share my screen.
And too, like I was talking about with that first layout the club did versus the one we have now, even though I wasn't really there for the construction of either layout, we as a group actually still learned quite a bit. I learned a lot about the equipment that I used on that layout, because we broke couplers on some of the freight cars. I had freight cars that had plastic couplers on them. We wound up breaking a couple of those. We learned a lot about the track work, the wiring, and we took what we learned from the old layout that we didn't do and applied to the current layout. And now we have a layout that operates very nicely. I mean, you could turn the trains on, go off, and run them for hours and not have an issue with them. So, so you do, as Daryl say, you do learn as you go. and you take what didn't work and then apply it
Right.
into making a better layout. So if I'm making sense.
So sure. So what you're looking at, and I apologize, you're probably not going to be able to see it, but the measurements are at the top here on the ruler and on the bottom, but I'll try and make some sense of this. The reason that the layout is this way is because of this angle that's right here. This is on the other side of the wall. There's actually that's the other workbench that I have. The previous owners had that set up as a dry bar, and my wife won't let me rip it out. So that is a cutout from one room to the other. The door that you guys see behind me is right about here where my mouse is. So I walk into this space, and this L shape that you see right here, this is the only walking room we have, because right here is the HVAC system and right here is the electrical system. So building anything past that is a no-go. So looking at it from top to bottom, going across this back wall here is about 99 inches. This side wall here is about 91 inches. It's 36 inches wide. This little section here is about 48 inches deep. The length of this, or the width of this going across, is about 44 inches wide. And then when you get onto this side, this is 36 inches wide. Actually, there's 4 sections that were built in squares. There's 4 squares, one there, one there, one there, and one there. They're all 36 by 36. And then there's a small section here, just talking about bench work, small section here that was added onto that. So the total length of the entire layout going this way is 146 inches, 156 inches. I don't know what that equates to in feet. Sorry. And then going from side to side, this section here is where I said it's 64 and a half. So if you add that plus the other 36, the entire thing is what, 120 inches? No, I'm doing that wrong because I'm not including the gap. No, it's about 120 because 36, 27, that's 60 something, and then 64 and a half. So it's 120 inches going across total.
About 10 feet.
56 inches going that way. But that's the space that I'm allotted. I can't, if I change that in any way, I'm taking out either space for trains or space for buildings. Can you send?
And I was just getting ready to say, Rick, you're a lot like me. You basically have to work with the space you're allotted to. That's why my layout's only a 4 by 8 feet of plywood, because that's all the space I have. So I really feel for you, man, because because I know what it's like not to have the space to build the layout you want.
Exactly. So Heath, the bench work is built to the room. So it's going from wall to wall to wall to wall. All these 4 outside walls here, 5 outside walls, that's it. That's all wall space. So it's coming out of the wall on each side. If that makes sense.
Well, it makes total sense to me.
Yeah, I can see it.
I mean, Rick, you're in the room. We're not. Some have had the privilege to be there. I have not. So I take what you say. I see your design, and that's all you got to work with. That's what you work with. You don't do anything else than what you got to work with. I think that's just the golden rule. You know, I mean, we wish we all could build it like huge. I mean, we really do. A lot of us do. Not all of us, but I see the room you got to work with, and now I understand about the radiuses. Totally understand now. I see it, Rick.
Yep, because to come around this corner, just this one corner, that's the monster. That's an 18-inch radius. In order to have enough room to come back around the balloon loop, it's the only way it's going to happen.
Right.
In order for me to make that a 22-inch radius, I have to move the track, which kind of butts up against this wall, to all the way out here, about halfway into the bench work, in order to just make that curve.
Don't see your mouse there, Rick.
So, Rick, just one quick question. I know you've said this. I just need to hear it in my head. Okay, so what is the widest radius that you can get away with that you're not butt up against the wall or the edge of the tables?
Probably
20.
I would say 22. that I'm not butt up against the wall.
Okay.
Well, if I increase, so I can do up to 22 inches on these sides. I can even do 22 inches going around here. I can do as much as I want around here because this is all open space. Right. So if I wanted to, I could take a curve and bring it all the way around. My main concern is right there. If I could get it to a 22, I think that would be great. I think a 24 is going to make it come out too far to the edge. And that's only going to leave me with one. It's only going to leave me with one available track to run a train. And I want to be able to run more than one.
I did hear you say that you would like to have a double main track. Is that still what you want to do?
Yes.
All right. Well, then you're going to have to run a 22 on the outside and an 18 on the inside. So on the 18 on the inside, really only run 4-axle trucks if you can. The outside, you can totally get away with 6-axle locomotives and you'll be fine. Just remember, when you do that, it takes up space on the layout. So look, for me, I'm just going to go out in there and throw it out. When I see layouts that are stuffed full of just stuff, it looks like throw up. Okay. It does. It just, there's so much stuff on the you can't even see what's going on. So what I'm saying, my suggestion is you want to keep it, you want to make sure that you're going to do this double main line that is not going to cut into your layout. Your DPM kit, you got to be able to fit all this in. So I totally see you can run a double main line, a line. It's just that it's just going to leave less room for buildings, and people tend to want to just stick all kinds of stuff in there, and you want to open view, you know. So well, I've learned. I've learned.
If he's going 22 inches, he can go down to 20 inch, and he can still run some of the 6-axle and some of the bigger stuff. You can go down as minimum as 20 inches, and that's what I've tried out. Like on my layout at the moment, the tracks that are coming out of the yard is 20 inches. I've tested my big boys, I've tested my passenger cars and whatnot. Everything run through it smoothly. Like this one that I'm working on now is been basically a test bed. So if you do 20 inches and then you go 2 inches further apart, which gives you the second track, and it's going to you can have two trains running nicely, and just try to work out a flow, even if it means trying to climb over the top of it somehow. 22 and 20 inches, it will fit. And even if you need to, I don't know, maybe bite a bullet somewhere and just go a single track and going back in the double.
You're killing
again.
me, Artie. I'm now listen, I bit the bullet to go from 3 to 2. Now you're telling me go 3 to 1. You're killing me, dude. You're killing me.
I'm giving you more to think about. You know I like to make you think about more things. You know, it's up to you. It's up to you. But like me, I'm doing with my experience. I'm going 20 to 22.
Derek's asking me, where is the door and where is my desk? So the door is right here. It's not in the same room. So the door is right here. Well, I'm pointing at the wrong screen. The door is right here. My desk is outside the room right there.
I totally
So
see it. I get it.
Yeah, this here, I'll put a box around it. This is that room, pretty much like that. And of that, this is not available space. We can't even touch that. So you can just barely see that this and this is the only space that me and John have to work with and to walk in.
So what you're trying to say is you need to cut back on your pasta and have some more salad for your meals.
Get a smaller gas tank.
Yeah. It's doable. It's doable. Just take your time.
Well,
I
I would
see a
like
lot of
to
room.
say,
I see a lot of room. That's what I see. I see.
I see room. It's got potential. You just got to sit down together, mark that space out somewhere outside, and lay your tracks down. You know?
Here, you know what? Let me do this. Hold on. Let me stop this.
Frank's got a solution.
You might be able to see.
Actually, I've got a better solution. Here's my solution, 4.1.
Hang on, Frank. Do what?
There's a couple of tunnel boring machines coming available soon in Sydney.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You can
Passing
get
by
one.
you saying you could switch to N scale. So
That
You can
is
always make
just
the basement
blasphemy,
bigger.
Randall. And Randall, if you ever say that again, I will ban you from this stream.
no, I was just getting ready to say that would be a huge undertaking to try that.
Oh man. Hang on for a second. Let me see if I can switch the screen in here. And I can show you. All right, come on. Let me get back to OBS. I know it's a little small, but if you pay attention to cam 1, you kind of have an idea of the room.
I can see the whole thing.
Yeah, I can see it
So
too.
camera 2 is just above that section to the left where you can see the crossover of the bridge.
Right.
Cam 3 is on that other side of the open space. So you can see how the two would connect with the bridge. But that's it as far as a track plan.
That looks like my first layout.
The problem is
I try to fit everything. That's what Rick. That's why I'm trying to say. I try to fit everything in. We all do it. We try to fit everything in, and then it becomes a disaster. You just move forward and you learn from it. That's it.
So I would like to say, when I ripped up my Christmas layout to bring model railroading out of just the holidays, I was like a madman. There was no bad feelings about it. It was like, ha, 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 you know, here I go.
It could have been worse.
Why is that?
It could have been a lot worse. It could have been a lot worse, Rick. You could have had your mountains and your scenery and everything else like that already up, and you had to pull all that apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, and that's why I wanted to stop here and work from here. All right, Frank says he's got the answer, so I'm going to bring him up on the panel and see what he's got to say. Frank, how you doing, bud?
Hey,
Frank, can you hear me?
I'm doing pretty good. Let me turn up because I have my mic down. Can't hear you. Hold on. Okay, so
You sound good on this side.
I understand the space constraints you had. I had the same kind. Let me see here. So I walked in here. This here, let me get a tape measure out. Double line like you want it. It had to come out 50 inches from the wall.
Yeah, I
But
don't
in
have
order to
that.
do
I've
that
got 36.
and
That's
fit
all
my
I can
butt
give you.
still in here. Do you see how I curved this in?
Right?
Now, once I did that, I took it narrower front to back here. We got 36 front to back on the back there. So if you was to take your far right hand side and actually bring it out wider so you could come and then take it back in tight. Do you see how that does?
I can't. I can't. I can only give you 36 inches.
And then you could be taking that wider, but you'd have to take some width off of the other side.
If I take width off of the other side, then I can't make a loop to come back. Not at a 22-inch radius. Because I've only got
on the other side.
I got 64 inches on the other side. Even if I were to take 10 inches off of that and say 55 inches, even if I were to put that on the other side, I'm only up to 48 inches. That'll give me a 24-inch curve, but that's not what I see what you're saying. I'm not trying to argue with you or shoot your idea down.
Yeah, I have.
But what you're leaning towards is making that dog bone shape.
Inside of 22 here.
18s and 22s. Is that correct?
Yeah, you'd have to. You'd have to widen the.
Yeah, my P5A will not run on an 18-inch curve. And neither will the.
I don't think you're going to run a P5A in that.
Neither will my well cars.
Rick, buddy, just stick what you got with. I totally see potential.
That sucks.
I
had limited space there too, Rick. And
you got enough room to do what you want to do. My suggestion is just don't do any inclines. That's it. You have plenty of room, Rick. You have plenty of room.
Yeah,
buddy.
I just got to figure it out.
Yeah.
I wish I could hear.
And you will.
How big are your?
I'm sorry. Somebody just asked a question. I didn't hear it.
And how big are your well cars? Are they the 40-foot cars? Or are they bigger than that?
Well, the cars themselves, they hold 40-foot containers, but they're longer than that. So I'm guessing they're probably 48-inch cars.
Okay. Because I have well cars, both the 40-foot well and the ones that holds the 48-foot containers, and they both run just fine on 22-inch curves. In fact, the red car, which is an older Walters car that I've had for a long time, it ran on 18-inch curves. It wasn't pretty, but they were actually able to run on it.
Yeah, my problem is they're on my 18-inch curve. They're buckling and popping the track.
Okay.
So it's not a matter of them looking pretty. I wouldn't mind it if they ran and looked pretty, or not looked pretty. But they're literally buckling in and popping the track. And I saw it on the very first car. And I was able to correct that by putting longer KD couplers on it, so the locomotive and the car didn't touch. But then the same thing happened on the second car, and because they're articulated, I don't know if you would call them even couplers. There's an articulated connection.
I know what you're talking about.
So they share a truck, right?
Yes, they share a truck. Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they're tough.
Jeff, in most places, yes, it's mostly all flex track. There is some snap track in there for curves. Only where if there was a curve with two pieces of flex track, you can never really get the kink out of it. So I would put a piece of snap track in there and just connect the flex track to those so I can get a good solder. But yes, mostly all flex track.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, I know what you're talking about, Rick, the articulated cars, because I have a bunch of those.
Right.
So, yeah, that could be a problem there. Of course, I know the ones I have, they're the 40-foot wells.
So here's what's holding me back, and it has to do with exactly what Frank was saying, and now what Heath brought up in comments. Frank has a double dog bone layout, which I think honestly, Frank, it's the first time I've seen it, and it looks amazing. Now Heath is saying, I think you're going to have to sacrifice and make a double dog bone layout. The problem is that right-hand side is where I only have 36 inches to come out. The other problem is this, and I'm not saying that the layout was designed for this. Well, no, it was. The layout was designed to have the bridge span the gap. That was the point of buying that bridge and making that bridge, was to span the gap. If I don't span the gap, then I have to do the double dog bone. But I wanted that bridge and built that bridge just for that purpose.
Okay, thanks.
They were cheap stuff, believe it or not.
Oh, you're fine, Artie. We don't care.
So you want to incorporate that bridge, correct?
Not and I've come to the realization that I can incorporate the bridge by moving it somewhere else. That's not a problem. As a matter of fact, I talked to John and I told John I think the better option would be to put that bridge somewhere where it doesn't have to be constantly moved. I've come to that realization, but I still want to span the gap. And that's what's holding me up. Because I think if I did exactly what Frank said and took a little bit of space off of the left and put it onto the right and made that a little bit longer, yeah, I could put a 22-inch loop over there, sure. But then I'm going to make a dog bone layout. And I don't mean this in any offense to anyone, but Frank's got a dog bone layout. Tom's got a dog bone layout. Everybody's got a dog bone layout. I wanted something different.
Okay.
I don't have a dog bone layout.
You see what I mean?
My brain's just running.
You see what I mean?
That's what they do.
And again, I got you. But there's, and I'm not trying to say that I have anything, super unique that no one's ever done before. I mean, if you look at my layout, it's basically between the three tracks. The outer loop is a continuous circle with just a bunch of curves.
Yeah.
The inner two loops are figure eights.
Yeah.
So it's nothing new. I'm not hiding anything. There's no illusion. But I didn't want the double bone, the double bone balloon loop at because everybody, the easiest thing to do is a balloon loop, the dog bone. That's the easiest thing to do. I didn't want easy. I wanted something different. I wanted people to look at the layout and go, wow, that's different. And again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the dog bone layout or a loop. If that's what works, that's what works. It just didn't work for me.
Well, you could always tear that bar out and build your wife a she shed. Then you'll have room.
Yeah, I tried doing that.
Move that bar to her she shed, and she can have it.
And the funny thing is, the bar is not anything that she uses. That's my airbrush station. That's my stuff over there. But she won't let me tear it out.
You know why though, Rick? You know why? Because the minute you tear that out, the next thing gets tore out. That's what she's afraid of. And the next thing gets tore out. Next thing your trains are going through the living room.
Yep. Or in the dining room.
Look, Rick, what I see is perfect. You've got no more room. You've said it many times. You've got a lot of people here helping you. Only you know what's best for your layout.
Yeah.
You will figure it out. You will figure it out, my friend.
That's exactly what he said.
You, just take some time out, watch some people's videos. As a matter of fact, don't watch any of ours. Watch people. Yeah, don't watch any of our videos. Watch people who maybe have 100 or 200 subs. I'm going to tell you, they have beautiful layouts.
Yeah.
And
You
might get great ideas from these guys, but don't watch any of our channels. Just go out and figure it out. You will, Rick. You'll figure it out.
You shall go into the world.
In my small bedroom layout, when it was 8 feet against one wall, 9 feet across the other, on the 8 feet side, it's actually a double figure eight climbing up. It's got two. If you look at it, it's got 2 figure eights in it, and it gave ample run. I've had 3 industries sidings in it as well. And I still had room to put 2 townships if I needed to. But I just sit down and just think it over, and don't rush it. I know you want to play trains. You got the floor and use the carpet, kick the kids out, or let the kids come and join in. Get the Thomas the Tank Engine running around. Well, even that, just get some tracks and lay it down in the lounge room.
It's funny, Artie, that you should say lay that out there on the floor, because that's exactly how I came up with mine. I tore that old layout you guys had seen out of there, and I just played with track on the floor, emptied the room out, played with track on the floor. Came up with this, and then built the benchwork to match it.
That's right.
Get your Legos out and make up mock buildings of what you've got and what you intend to do, and place them around the layout. There you go. You start working on your track plan.
Yeah. Both of my layouts started out.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to have to do. I think I'm going to have to tear it all out, and then get my buildings, put them on the layout, find out what design I want as far as where the buildings are going to go, and then I think I'm going to have to design the layout around it.
That's the best way to go.
Like I was showing the guy BNSF 60. I showed him I have 3 bins of buildings that I could not use after I redid the layout. The dog bone does take away some of your space, but I think my layout now performs much better than it did in the old. I couldn't reach the stuff in the middle. Something would go wrong in the middle. I got rid of grades. I got rid of everything. And made the terrain change, but the level of the train didn't. So I got rid of all the grades.
Exactly, Frank. That's exactly how I did this layout. Same thing. Thank you. I was trying to get that said, but I didn't have a chance. And that's what it's like. It's like what Sparky said. Perception. Exactly what Sparky said. Perception. And that's what my layout is about. It's perception. And what Frank said. So, you could take that bridge and you can cut out a section of the layout and make that bridge look like it's climbing, it's going over a canyon or climbing a hill.
Look at this just for a second here. Look. See how they got boom.
Yeah.
See how that just drops away in there?
Yeah.
So I have the track is level all the way around the layout.
That's how mine is. It's all level. Every single bit of it, because I have learned. We all want to do 3 and 4 levels. We all do. We want to see our trains run, but a lot of us can't do that. And I get that. I have room in my garage, but I've already been there and I've already done it. I ripped it all out because I didn't like it. I didn't like it because I like to run long trains. Period.
Yeah, me too. And the grades, depending on what local I had a problem. I had S curves trying to fit things in. All that's gone.
Yep. These are all good things to keep in mind, and that's for anybody who's building a layout. Look, everybody here, I'm sorry, we are all master modelers, every single one of us, and we all have
absolutely.
We all have our ideas of how we build our layouts. This is where we come together and share.
Yeah.
And that was a lot for Rick tonight. I felt him, I really did, and I saw the frustration in him. I'm glad you gave me the opportunity to come up here and share, because I'm going to tell you, Rick, I felt you. I did. I've been there a long.
Thank you, Daryl. I appreciate that.
It was deep.
Just go and do.
Your face was red, brother. You looked like you were about to explode.
Oh, I know, dude.
Yeah.
I was having a hard time with words. I got to be honest with you. It's
yeah.
It was
Rick,
it was tough. It was tough,
Yep.
and
You
it's
don't
been
have
eating at me for months.
You have nothing set up. So my advice to you is to clear that room out and lay your track out on the floor and rearrange it till you got something you like and fits in that spot.
Well, Frank, he's already got a table. He's already there. He's just got to clear off the table.
Save the wood and get rid of the table.
No, don't get rid of the
no,
table. Keep the table
I got no room to get rid of that wood. No, I can't. I can't save any. That has to stay.
We know you're part.
Winter is coming. Winter is coming, Rick. So you got plenty of room in the fireplace.
Yes.
Yeah. 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 And the price of wood went up, so trying to get it back is going to be a bitch.
Oh yeah,
absolutely, absolutely.
No thanks.
See, I did do another layout for a friend of mine. I don't have the photos to it. I think I do somewhere, but I've got to find it. It was a 4x8 layout. Lucky for me, he was running a lot of Hornby stuff, a lot of English stuff, so I could get away with tighter curves. And try to get at least 2 or 3 trains running, because this is what his son-in-law, the guy that I was building the layout for, because he wanted for his father-in-law, he wanted 3 trains to run. And I could not work it out on pen and paper. I could not work it out on a computer program. I just got the track, started laying it out on the floor. I managed to get 3 trains running, took the photograph off the track plan, and then put it on the layout. It took me 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks to work it out, but eventually come to it. You know, that's the only way you're going to do it. That's the only way you're going to come around. And we Creepy's doing the Aboriginal thing, burning off the offcuts. It's colder up there at the moment. Yeah, snow up there too. But anyway, just take your time. You get some ideas on it. Even as Sparky says, forget about your track plan. Start wipe it all out clean and start from scratch. Start from scratch. Even Frank said it. You know, clear some room out. You and John sit down, even with the kids, sit down on the floor, get some old cheap tracks. You start working on it. And have some fun when you're designing it on the floor. Get the Lego out and start working with the Lego.
When you have to build a new layout, the hardest thing to do is to let go of the old one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to let go.
I'm seeing that. I'm seeing that. That's been mentioned a couple times tonight, and I think Sparky's right. I think
Rick,
that's what
we've seen that on live TV. I mean, dude, that was hard. Like I said, I felt for you, brother. Been there. That was a lot for you tonight, and maybe this is the beginning for you to realize you just got to start a clean slate on the table that you have, and go for it.
You guys that are subscribers to mine have seen my old layout, which was basically 10 by 12 square. Everything was on that big square. And that's why I said it was hard to get to stuff. That was months. My favorite part is the scenery and doing the buildings and all that stuff. And that was months and months and months of work that I had to tear apart. I saved my wood, Rick, but everything else went to the trash bags. The buildings went into bins. The track that I was able to save, I saved, but I started fresh on the floor. And it actually gave me an opportunity to put new hardwood floor in there. So, but
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Frank. I just there's no way that I can even if I were to take out, I don't know, if another creepy, no, I don't use any rail. Not for any particular reason. We started with Atlas Track when we first started designing it, and Atlas had this branded SCARM program on that I guess that they whatever branded or whatever, and that's what we started using, and that's what we've used ever since.
And that side being 36, I don't care if you use any rail either. It's going to tell you ain't getting nothing in there bigger than 18, and you're going to go to the edge.
That's right.
Right. So I don't know. Maybe changing the bench work is what needs to happen. I don't know. I know I need to empty that room. I need to get everything off of the layout in order to, as you guys suggested, forget what is there so that I can start something else.
Once you get that done, Rick, then just put the track on top of the workbench.
And don't forget while you're doing it, get a couple of beers, a couple of bourbons, and you'll be right.
I forget.
Is that Lynn McCurdy?
I forget which one of you guys said not to listen to anybody with a lot of subscribers. Well, I only got 94, so you can listen to me.
I'm sorry, Lynn.
Lynn, how's it going, bud?
Okay.
I wanted to show you something. While all this is going on, and I understand, and I'm looking at my little dinky thing behind me here.
Yeah.
Some of you know, some of you don't know. Next train show coming up in 4 weeks. There are going to be billboards scattered around
Nice.
the layout. And this just happens to be one.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
I don't know who else is here, but I've got a bunch of other billboards I'm working on. I don't know who this person is. Yeah, get there so you can see it. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Sweet.
But there's try not to break them here. I'm sorry.
As long as you stay away from the Humanity Junction billboards, you should have no problems.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have his already. There's Sparky's.
Do you get a lot of derailments in that area?
I got quite a few. Where is there's Fishman. I don't know. Heath is in here somewhere. Oh, here he is.
And Heath was right. The minute you stop saying it's impossible, you'll see it. You'll find the answer.
So
I'm not saying
I never heard Rick.
I'm not saying it's impossible. I know there's an answer.
I never heard Rick say
it's an answer.
I never heard him say it's impossible.
Hey,
it's not impossible. I just have to work within the constraints of that room because I cannot change that room. As much as I would love to come through that wall. I would love to take up more space, but the space that is directly to this side of me, that's all designed for my kids. That's where their toys are.
There you go.
I sit here and I work here when I work from home. I do my YouTube lives from here.
Yep.
I do all my videos from here so that I can look over there and watch my kids.
There you go.
So I play here, they play there. I can't come through that wall.
Yeah.
Rick, have you considered
that's my issue.
what?
Basically, all these signs I'm showing, I have permission from the owners of them. If you don't know who that is, Jason Jensen Trains.
Okay.
Yep. I'm subscribed to that guy.
Yep.
See, but I think
big guy. Yep.
I think he's distributing James Powell.
He's distributing the cause forms on your layout. I think there's little gremlins that live in these things he sends out. So
I hear this guy went to dinner, but we got his too.
That's very good, Lynn. I like
already talking about. I still have masking tape on the floor when my wife said, "Hey, you can have this room." This house is built as a 3-car garage. This would be the third stall of a garage.
Okay,
I've got
nice.
Computer, everything you see in front of me. Well, you can't see it. I can see it. I've got storage all over here. You can see part of it.
Right.
But
yeah.
There's the Twin Peaks.
That's another thing I got to work in is storage.
And Lynn, you're working within your constraints.
I just laid it out on the floor.
There you go.
Okay. And the layout itself is made so it can come apart. Doesn't look like it. The mountain might be a little disaster, which that was the one thing my wife said, I want to see a mountain. And she just resigned a school teacher. She would come home, come in and look at it. And she goes, I thought you were going to build a mountain. It's all solid foam. It's not hollow.
Wow.
And I used to go around dumpster diving, getting all those styrofoam shapes and carving them, putting them there. And one night she came home and I said, is this tall enough? And she's 4'11". That is 5'2". And she goes, that's good. But also, see what's up above? That's where the big trains go. Because they won't go down here. They'll go part of the way, but this back corner, the only way, and that was the other thing. She wanted to be able to go all the way to the back. For the last 10 years, you know how many times she's been back there?
Not once. hang on a second, Lynn.
Pardon?
Hang on a second, because I want to address Derek's question. He says, Rick, one question: would you ever tell someone to design the benchwork first if they're planning a layout? I personally, I want to say yes, but there could be exceptions to that. In my case, I really don't have a choice. The benchwork fits the room. So regardless of how I was going to design the benchwork, it is what it is. I can't really change it. Sure, I can make it shorter. I can make it less deep, but the more I take away, the less room I have for trains and buildings. So am I sacrificing room just to be comfortable? Maybe. But the more flat space that I have available, the more stuff that I can put on it. Am I saying I'm going to make it junky? No. Now, in other places where you have more room and you know exactly where your layout's going to be and you have enough room in there to design it, hell, I would say design your layout and build your benchwork to fit it. But I don't have that option.
The other option you may have there, Rick, is how you had that U shape cut out in there and it's only 36 inches wide, is actually fill that in and put a pop out section in the center so you can get the stuff.
That's the bridge.
Well, make your bridge like we were saying. You could put a bridge across there and have a valley coming up through, into the back, but you could come right back on yourself there instead of having to go back in a dog bone.
Well, that's the whole figure eight, Frank.
Well,
that's already built. That's not, and to be honest with you, the only problem with that line, the way it is the fact that when you come off the bridge into the bottom section, because it's the inside lane, it's 18 inches. And that's where things fall off.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm going to say, I don't have really much more to add. It sounds like you got it handled. Just do it. Just do it.
I wouldn't know about handled, but it's getting there.
You're getting there.
Lynn, thank you so much for coming up here, buddy. I appreciate it.
Peace out, Lynn.
See you later.
Yeah, Rick, nothing to it. Just do it and get through it, brother.
That's it. That's it. Well, listen, we've been at this for 2.5 hours, and I've gotten a lot of good comments from everybody, and I appreciate all of your advice. And honestly, to tell you the truth, I know you guys all have said it. You saw my frustration. You saw how I felt about this. I can honestly tell you, I feel better now. I feel
Good.
better knowing that I'm not the only one who's been through this, and knowing that I'm going forward in a better place and with good advice. And I will be reaching out to members of the community to see, how I could do a better track plan or, how I could do things better. So some of you will hear from me shortly. Again, I do appreciate all of you guys.
Yeah. Well, Rick, if I could
before I go in
Australia, I would give you a hug. I love you, Artie, but I couldn't give him a hug because I couldn't cross Australia there.
Listen, Artie's a lot closer than you think. I can get Artie to California real quick.
Oh my God.
That's funny. That's good. As long as he doesn't have a voodoo doll, Artie, you're all right.
All right, gentlemen.
You got it.
Good night, everybody.
Peace out, Daryl.
Thank you so much, Daryl. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Rick, for
Take it
having
easy.
me on.
Later, Dale.
Oh, thank you for coming up, brother. I appreciate it.
Hey, remember, everybody,
All right.
West Coast Wednesdays.
Absolutely.
8 o'clock
Yes.
Western.
Yes, do your
Eastern time.
plugs.
Yes. 8 o'clock.
Absolutely.
Crooked River, Dave from Crooked River in Eastern, and D-Rail Daryl and AJ Weathering. We will be up Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern. Be there. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Take it
Peace
easy,
out.
Daryl. Thanks.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Hey, Rick, what about
Drew Dudes, will do, buddy. I appreciate it. Cool. Tom, anything that you'd like to add to the topic?
what about running an elevated one above so that you can have the 22 on both tracks? Maybe you can run elevated in that section that's not so wide. You know, you can run an elevated train on top of the other one.
I mean, I guess that's an option.
I mean, I don't know how difficult.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, with the constrained room, instead of because if you have a 22, then you need maybe you can get a 20 within a 22. It's kind of tight. So, like I ran 18 and 22 on one level, and then up above I have 22 and 24. So, yeah, but you need more to do that, you know. But it's just something to think about anyway.
Yeah, I just chuckled at that.
Yeah, I like Grandpa's idea. A lot of water towers, and it'll come to me.
Hey, speaking of a water tower,
sounds good.
Here's the water tower I rented today.
Nice. Is
that nice?
Yeah.
N scale, yeah.
No, that's HO.
That is.
Yeah, and then I also rented a building.
Oh, there's your answer, Rick. Start over.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
Listen, I kicked Randall out of here for that. You don't want to be the next one, friend.
Yeah, I've been 3D printing, and this was the first time I printed it, and it didn't come out right. Let me see, where is it?
A little higher.
Yeah. See how that all got whacked there, and I had to tear the whole 3D printer apart, put in a new Z-axis in there. It was,
oh no!
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
All right, Tom, I'm going to send you down the basement, bud. I appreciate you popping up here, man. Thanks.
Yep. Take it easy. Everybody have a good night.
Take care.
Peace out.
Take care, Tom.
His camera made me chuckle when you were talking, and that thing was zooming in and out. I was dying. I'm going to tell you what. I almost lost it a couple times.
I think that's a feature in OBS. I haven't played with it yet, but I think that's a plugin. Cool. So, Plumber, how about you? Any final words?
I pretty much summed it up in my last little rhyme there. You know, it's simple. You're going to get through it. I'm glad you're not, Kilauea exploding here anymore, but you've gone a little more to normal colors, not bright red.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm glad you feel better.
All right. Thank you, buddy. Well, again, I appreciate you coming up here. Thank you for all the kind words, and I'll catch you in the chats, bud.
Yep. Peace out, everybody.
All right. Take care, Plumber.
All
right. You guys want to do rock, paper, scissors and see who goes next?
I'll get out of here, guys. So just Rick, take your time, step back, sacrifice some wood, and start on the floor, man. And I think if you take that advice, I think you'll have a lot of headaches in the long run there. And
I think so.
If you haven't seen my layout, that means you probably dropped off as a subscriber. So check.
I'll take a look. I'll take a look. I don't know why I haven't. I think I am a subscriber. At least I was at one time.
I
know.
should be subscribed to it.
But
yeah,
I will take a look. I'll take a look.
I'm below 100. It's my own fault because I haven't put many videos up. But so, all right,
Sounds
guys,
good.
I'll see you later.
All right. Thank you, Frank. I appreciate you jumping up here, bud.
All right.
Thank you,
Take
Frank.
it easy. Artie?
You're ugly, man.
Me and you, bud.
You're ugly. You're so ugly.
Listen, dude, thank you so much for coming up here. I appreciate your
Anytime,
opinion on
buddy.
everything. You know it
Anytime.
means the
Anytime.
best.
Yeah. If you want, we can have a chat later if you want. So, yeah, throw me down the basement
Yeah,
if you want.
I got to run up and take care of the kids. Somebody's not in bed yet, so I'm going to go upstairs and I'm going to crack some skulls.
You haven't done your job. You haven't done your fatherly duties, eh? Your father.
Oh.
Yeah. Look, at the end of the day, Rick, don't lose any sleep. We've all been down that path. Just clean the slate up and start again. You know.
You got it, bud.
Same as
You
what I
got it.
said. Working on the floor. I mean, reach out if you need it. There's many of us here that will help out. I mean, do what you want, and he'll come to you. Just take your time. Don't rush it. I mean, I changed the track plan on my layout, the one that I'm building now. I've changed it probably about 50, 60 times already.
Yeah.
And I'm working on the top deck now, and in some ways that's becoming a nightmare, but he'll get there. He'll get there. Just take a break, take the kids down the beach again, and probably a new idea will come to your head, and then go with it.
We'll do, bud. We'll do.
All right, mate.
Well,
all right.
I'll kick you out of here. Thank you so much for everything, bud.
Love you too. Piss off.
I'll see you in the chats.
Catch you later.
I'll see you. All right, gang. Again, thank you so much for listening to me and giving me an opportunity to talk to you, explain my issues. I do feel so much better. I'll be reaching out. A lot of you had some good ideas. There's some good things in chat. I'm definitely going to sit here and watch this video over again to find out exactly who I need to talk to. So again, thank you so much. And let's watch the outro. I'll see you.